Okay, guys, I think I cracked the nut on this one finally. The deep, dark, assorted past of one Sir Crocodile. It's taken me many sleepless nights, and I've had to reread the entire Alabasta saga and all of Impel Down and all of Marineford and reading through all these SBS questions regarding Crocodile, but I think I finally cracked the case. Okay, here it is. I'm not even gonna build it up or anything. I'm just gonna lay it all out for you. Okay. When Crocodile was beginning his piratey days, when he was beginning his career as a pirate, when he was a rookie, he had to have he was looking around at all the popular pirates in the world, and he's like, you know what, I need to have, like, a motive, right? I need to have, like, an aesthetic. Like Moria's got the blue skin, demon, zombie shit going on, Kuma's a little teddy bear, Doflamingo, Doflamingo's Doflamingo, but you know what I mean. He needed to come up with, like, a motive. And so he thought about this for, like, days, probably weeks, trying to figure out the exact motive he wanted, like, something threatening, but also something, like, iconic, something that the world would know. And finally, after weeks of contemplating this, he finally arrived at the conclusion. His motive was going to be an alligator. Yeah, he was going to be an alligator. But the problem was, every pirate ship that he attacked always confused him for a crocodile. And they kept calling him, oh no, he's a crocodile. I'm like, no, man, I'm not a crocodile, I'm an alligator. And at first he tried to correct everybody on this, but then eventually he got made into a warlord, and even like the world government started calling him Sir Crocodile, and he's like, no, man, I'm not a freaking crocodile. And after a while, he just had to go with it. It wasn't who he really was. It wasn't who he truly felt like he was inside. But he had to go with it because that's just the way it was. And after a while, he just like, you know what, I'm just going to run with it. And he's really emotional about it. If anyone ever brings up that he used to be an alligator, that's going to really mess with him because he's just like, he's trying to forget about it now. Because he knows that can never be true. It's a part of his past that he wished was true, but he just can never go back to that. And that's his secret. Yeah. All right, so that's it. Video's over. Have a good night, everybody. Tekking101 signing out. Okay, obviously that's not the thing, but my God, everybody, you know, it's just going back and looking at everything. Can you believe this all started with just one throwaway line of dialogue? I guess not a throwaway line of dialogue, because it was so important to so many people, but it was just one line of dialogue from Ivankov back in Impel Down. And it wasn't even like a big thing in that chapter. It wasn't like a full-page spread where Ivankov's like staring down Crocodile with like the crazy eye. Like, I know your secret, Croco boy! And Crocodile, like the other page is like, oh! It was just, like, crammed in one page in, like, 2 panels. I think Ivankov was saying something along the lines of, well, you know, we can't trust him. We can't trust the crocodile, but, if he tries to double-cross us, I have this information about his deep, dark past. I have a secret that he wants to keep hidden above all costs, and if he ever tries to double-cross us, I'll be able to intervene, and I'll be able to rein him in with this knowledge, with the threat of revealing this information. And you have Crocodile here in just a tiny little panel that's just kind of glaring at Ivankov, like, Ivankov, don't you dare, you know, something like that. That's all it was. And we are to imply from that statement that if Crocodile really did try to double-cross it, like, let's say they're sailing to Marineford and all of a sudden Crocodile tried to, like, kill Luffy, like, sneak attack, try to kill Luffy, we're to understand that all that would have to happen there is Ivankov would have to step in between the two and be like, Crocoboy, your secret is, like, oh, okay, damn it, stop it, Ivankov, alright, fine, I'll play along. We are to imply that that's all that would take. And isn't that kind of out of character for Crocodile a little bit? You know, considering all the crap we've seen him do and everything. You know, that this information would be so important, so detrimental to his reputation from who he is, that it would like irreparably damage it. And that's something he just can't have. It would damage his pride or something, like something that he really values, you know? So that's the kind of level of shit we're dealing with here. You know, that's his weakness. I mean, well, obviously Crocodile has a weakness already, like a devil fruit weakness. It's water, but this goes beyond people knowing that secret. It's a secret about, you know, something that happened in his past that maybe involved Ivankov. We don't know for a fact it involved Ivankov, like, directly. We just know that Ivankov happens to know about it. So that's the case there. Now, this information was revealed, like, back in like 2009, I think this chapter dropped. Like, that was a long time ago, and because it's been so long ago, so many people have talked about this over the years. So many forum posts on like the Oro Jackson, so many like Reddit posts, YouTube videos out the wazoo, so many people talking about this theory regarding Crocodile's past and this secret that Ivankov has. And one of the problems with that, I mean, it's always great to see discussion, but one of the problems with that is that somebody comes up with a theory and then people just kind of start accepting that theory as like, well, that theory's been around for a really long time, so there must be some credit to that, so let's just go with that theory. And it becomes less about talking about what this mystery could be, what this secret is, and more about discussing this theory over and over and over and over and over again. And so I really didn't want this video to be that. I didn't want it to just come on here and talk about the common theory that everyone discusses, that Crocodile used to be a woman, and then Ivankov showed up, and then either because Crocodile wanted to, or either just forcefully, Ivankov changed Crocodile's gender to a male, and then that's where we are now. And that's the general way that theory goes. That's the most basic way. I mean, like I said, it's been around for so long. There's been so many deviations from that one idea, but it always comes back to that one idea. Crocodile used to have tits, basically. That's where it all started, okay? There's been other ones that have been, like, related to that in a sense. Like, Crocodile was involved in a relationship with an Okama at one point. Crocodile's gay, or involved with a relationship directly with Ivankov. Maybe when Ivankov was a woman at one point and Crocodile didn't know, and then that's the thing that he doesn't want to know. That's the thing that Crocodile doesn't want the world to know, or something like that. And the problem I've had with those theories since day one, really, something that kind of bugged me in the back of my, like a niggling little, that's, you know, is it doesn't seem like it's big enough. It doesn't seem like it's really impactful enough or really scandalous enough. You know what I mean? Like, let's say down the line it's revealed what his secret is. We meet up with Ivankov again, and Ivankov reveals, oh yes, this whole time Crocodile was actually a girl, and I changed him with my powers to a male. Oh, how crazy. Would you be satisfied with that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't be satisfied in the slightest. I wouldn't be sitting there like, oh, wow, yeah, holy crap, we've been waiting years and maybe over like a decade for this, and this is the big bombshell we got. Especially since Crocodile has already been drawn as a woman. Oda even came out and did that. So it's like, oh, okay. Well, there he is. If you want to imagine Crocodile as a woman, there you go. And there's a shit ton of other fan art out on the internet about Rule 63 and Crocodile. Now, look, I could see this being very detrimental to him, like his pride and his reputation, if his personality was like a lot more macho. You know, like if Crocodile was like acting like this super manly macho guy, and he was like, check me out, I got these muscles, I'm so freaking badass. You know, kind of like the way like Don Krieg acted, or even the way Frankie acts to an extent. Like if he was this super macho character, and it turns out that he used to be a woman, I can understand why he would want to hide that part of his past, like above all else. But is that the way that Crocodile has been shown to act? I don't think so. Going back through Alabasta, Crocodile was like a freaking Bond villain. He was like super chill and like a gentleman, chilling out in his secret lair with his glass of wine, captures like the Straw Hats and Smoker in this freaking cage, has a nice little discussion with them first, then has his giant banana gator come down and eat them. Vivi comes in and attacks him. He's super calm with that. He's not the kind of guy that like flexes his muscles in like that direct, like testosterone-y kind of way. You know, the fact that Crocodile is a man doesn't seem to be that big of a part of his personality, you know what I mean? Yeah, during the end of the arc, when Luffy was just laying the fuck smack on him, he was going a little crazy, like his hair was becoming a little bit undone, and he was just like, oh, I'm gonna take you down, you freaking rubber boy. But that was more because Luffy was like this massive thorn in his side, who just would not stay down, would not die, and everything was like, the tomb was crumbling around him, and he was like, this plan might fail, and he's just like, you can't blame the dude for becoming a little bit unstable at that point, losing his composure a touch, you know, where he just goes crazy, like, I just gotta take this guy down, you know? So that's all that was. I don't really see that as anything really all that macho about it. And the same thing goes with Crocodile, like he's secretly gay and he doesn't want anybody to know. Or he had a sexual relationship with Ivankov or something like that. I just don't think that's the way that Oda's going to go with it. Or a better way to say it is, I don't think the way that Oda could go with it. Like his editors would not allow him to have that. Like, oh, by the way, Crocodile had a sexual relationship with Ivankov. I don't think that's something Oda could do. And my basis for saying that is going back through One Piece, the manga itself, as well as all all the supplemental material we get from like the SBS and all that stuff, things like sex are very rarely ever directly referenced or mentioned, explicitly in One Piece. And the example I can give with this is, there's two, actually. One of them is the example of Doflamingo and Viola. Now, did you guys know, fun fact, Viola and Doflamingo have actually had a sexual relationship. Yeah, they did. They boned. I know that's kind of like just imagining Doflamingo's, muscular body into Viola on a nightly basis, but that actually happened. Now, you might ask, how do you know that, Matt? That was never stated in the manga. And you're right, it wasn't. Never directly. All we get is this very vague moment where Viola and Doflamingo are confronting each other. Doflamingo refers to her as Violet, and Viola refers to him as Dofi, and it's like this weird, like they have like some kind of weird relationship that's a little bit, intimate maybe, but they don't really elaborate on it. Somebody asked Oda this question in the SBS, like what was the deal with that weird tension there between the two? And even in the SBS, Oda could not just come out and say they had a sexual relationship. They had sex, they boned. That's what happened, okay? He had to vaguely phrase it, even in the SBS, like, I couldn't directly say it, but for the more adult audience from One Piece, let me just say, Dressrosa truly is a passionate country. That's the best way that he could have phrased it. That was allowed, I guess, because One Piece is a shonen manga, it's aimed for teenage boys. I guess there's some rules in stating, like, this is like this kind of relationship that these two had. So he couldn't come out even and say it in the SBS. So, like, if that was the situation with Crocodile, like, Crocodile had a sexual relationship with Ivankov, that's the secret he doesn't want anybody to know. Oda would have a very difficult time coming out and saying that, like, it would lose its impact a little bit, because, it would be something that his editors would not allow. They would not allow for Ivankov just to come out and say, oh yeah, we had some fun one night, just the two of us, death wink, you know what I mean? I don't think that's the way it was going to go. And there's another example of this, which is even weirder to me. Okay, so do you remember the scene during Dressrosa, these all occur in Dressrosa for some reason, where Robin was taken by the Tontatas and she was being tied down? There's a moment where Leo is like relaying information to his, like Section S is clear, what about Section T? It's fine. And I think he gets to a part in where Leo pops out of Robin's boobs, and he's like, Sector B is also clear. And somebody asked Oda in an SBS, like, did Sector B mean boobs? Or did B region mean boobs? And Oda came out and said, yeah, it totally did. When I first wrote it, I wanted to write boobs region, laughed my ass off, but the editor was like, nope, you can't do that. You can't put boobs region in there. And so Oda had to change it. But I'm like, that's the weird thing, like, even something like that he couldn't include. So it's like, I don't think it's a sexual relationship with an Okama or Ivankov. I just don't think that's the way it's going to go down. And I also don't think it's going to be a big boom like, oh, he used to be a woman. I just don't see it going down that way. Now, what could his secret actually be, though? Okay, well, to do this, we kind of have to set up a little bit of a, we have to set up a little bit of a timeline of Crocodile's past, everything we know about it. And we know a little bit about his past, enough that I can construct kind of a rudimentary timeline, but nothing that I can really, there's a lot of gaps in there, okay? So, the earliest point in Crocodile's life that we're aware of is actually something from an SBS. Crocodile is drawn as a child along with all the other warlords by Oda. We don't know how old he is here, we don't know where he's at, we don't know what his upbringing was like. All we know is this is how Crocodile was drawn as a child. That's all we know. Okay, he does look, to be fair, he looks a little bit pissy here, annoyed. Maybe his childhood growing up wasn't that bad. But Oda tends to add little hints to these things, like in, if a character had kind of a rough upbringing, he'll usually draw them, like their shirt's covered in dirt or their face are all scuffed up or something like that, if they had like a rough upbringing. Crocodile doesn't have that. He seems to have a fairly, nice attire and all that stuff. Some people have even mentioned that this gives a little bit of credence to the whole woman thing, because maybe Crocodile was kind of a tomboy growing up. I think it could go either way, male or female here. Some people have mentioned that, and when I say some people, by the way, I should just probably say this. When I was doing research for this video, I went on and I wanted to read a lot of theories about this, the whole crocodile woman thing, and I stumbled upon a really well thought out like PowerPoint presentation by someone on Oro Jackson named Pirate King Buggy, and it was this really good PowerPoint presentation about basically debunking the whole theory that Crocodile was a woman. And there was some things I agreed with, some things I didn't. One of the things I didn't agree with was he was comparing like child Crocodile in the SBS, and he's like, this is clearly a male. This is not how Oda draws other women. There's clearly a difference there between like the way he draws male and female. And I didn't really agree with that, because if we're gonna go along with the idea that Crocodile is like a tomboy growing up, he was a woman that just wasn't all girly, then that makes sense, because you also have Cavendish, who is a male, but Cavendish is much more like girly in respects. So this is an image of Cavendish as a child. You could totally say Cavendish is a girl here, and this is an image Crocodile as a child. To me, it's androgynous. You can be either a male or a female there, but I still don't buy into the whole Crocodile, woman thing. But that's just something I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to, give some, show some examples of that slideshow that Pirate King Buggy did. But right now, Oro Jackson is like just shut down for a while, so I can't do that. But wanted to mention him there. Okay, so that's the earliest, though, we've seen Crocodile. All we really got from that is that Crocodile still had a hand growing up, because he doesn't have the hook yet. Now, the next part that we actually see him, the earliest point we see him after this that gives us a little bit more information, is actually during Strong World, the little bit of information where we go back, a little side chapter where we go back into the past and seeing what all the different pirates were like at the time of Roger's execution. And this was animated as well. And we see a scene here with Crocodile observing Goldie Roger's execution. He was there at Logtown 24 years before the current storyline, observing Roger's death. And during the current storyline right now, Crocodile is 46 years old. So that means during this time right here, Crocodile is 22. And he looks remarkably, obviously we only see the back of his head, but he looks remarkably like he does now. Same hairstyle, seems to have the same outfit he's wearing, smoking a cigar. So yeah, this is Crocodile at age 22. And we know for a fact that Crocodile, during his early days, wanted to become king of the pirates. He was witnessing the execution of Goldie Roger and probably wanted to, I'm going to do this. I'm going to become the pirate king. And that's when he began his adventure. This was the point where you could consider him like a rookie becoming a pirate. And this is where things get just a touch difficult, because it's kind of hard to piece all this together and like what happened here, because we just don't know the exact timeline for how this went down. But we know at age 22 he's watching Roger's execution. Sometime after that, not long really, in terms of like just maybe a few years, he is eventually accepted into the Warlords, the 7 Warlords of the Sea. And this also happened when he was like in his mid-20s. It wasn't very long after he began his pirate career that he was accepted into the Warlords. Shortly after being accepted into the Warlords, this is when he attempts to attack Whitebeard. He fails. Whitebeard beats the crap out of him, and then he I think maybe it's at that point that he realized, wait a second, this is the man that's the closest to becoming king of the pirates, Whitebeard, he's so strong, he beat the crap out of me, and maybe this is the point where he started to realize that this is not my dream, like I can't do this, I can't become king of the pirates, although I don't think he's ever really, completely forgotten about that dream, and we'll get to that in a minute. So that happened, he got his ass kicked by Whitebeard. Then, later on in his life, at age 30, we see a newspaper that Corazon is reading during Law's flashback, and this is when he was defending Alabasta from some pirates. So, we know at age 30, he was already beginning the whole Baroque works thing, setting up shop in Alabasta, and at age 22, he was becoming a pirate for the first time. So that's a span of 8 years. 8 years from rookie Crocodile, then Warlord, and then attacks Whitebeard, and then at some point after that he begins Baroque works, and by the age of 30 he's setting up shop in Alabasta. And then we don't know anything about it between age 30 and like the current storyline. We can just imagine that it was like the basic deal, Alabasta building up Baroque works, trying to like recruiting Nico Robbins somewhere in there, grabbing, getting all this knowledge about Pluton and trying to do the Operation Utopia thing. That's all we got. All right, so a few questions I have here are, number one, how did he get the hook? Like, I'm just curious about the hook. Does the secret have something to do with the hook? It might not be. It might just be Crocodile, maybe it happened in his fight with Whitebeard. Whitebeard just cut off his freaking arm, and he lost it, and now he has the hook and whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I'm kind of interested. It's such a big part of his character, having the hook. I'm interested in what the hook is for. And also, you might notice that being that this is a pirate-based manga, there's a lot of stereotypes and, like, cliches that come with pirates. Like, pirates have the peg leg, and pirates have the hook, and pirates have the eye patch. There has not been a single pirate in the One Piece story that has an eye patch, and Oda even said, I'm waiting for a certain character to give the eye patch to. So it's like he's passing on these very particular cliches with pirates to very specific characters that, like, deserve it. Like, oh, the eye patch thing, I have a very particular character I have that in mind for. Probably the same deal, and the fact that Zeph is the peg leg pirate, and the fact that you have Crocodile who's the hook hand pirate. Like, these are people maybe Oda's, like, having a bigger plan for later in the story. Like, we're certainly not done with them yet, but okay, maybe it has something to do with the hook. Here is, I think, a viable theory on why Crocodile is so afraid of anybody finding out about this secret, okay? We understand that, I can think of two, actually. Number one, it's something to deal with his confrontation with Whitebeard. We're led to believe that Crocodile was a very strong upstart pirate. He became a warlord. He attacked Whitebeard. He lost, but then he left. He got away, and that's when he decided, I'm going to go and do the Baroque works thing. I'm kind of give up my dream to become king of the pirates. So what if what happened with that confrontation with Whitebeard is, as Whitebeard was beating the crap out of Crocodile, Crocodile begins to, like, beg for his life? What if he just is reduced to, like, a simpering, like freaking dying puppy dog, tears streaming down his face, just like, please, Whitebeard, please, I don't want to die, please, don't kill me, I'm sorry, I'm young, I'm stupid, I just wanted to try. Like, that would be something that I think Crocodile would be ashamed of. That would be something I know that would ruin his reputation. He's, like, supposed to be this badass. Even after he got captured by the Marines, he was supposed to be this kind of badass, placed in level 6, impaled down, where only the worst scum of the world go. He was probably, even if he was in prison, he was riding that freaking pride, ego train, like, they found it necessary to put me down in level 6, I'm a badass. And even he's kind of convinced himself about it. But imagine, like, it was his early days of being a pirate, he was new to this whole thing, and so he thought he was, bigger than his, britches, he's wearing daddy's pants, and went after Whitebeard, who's the biggest pirate. What if Whitebeard didn't even really do all that many things to really harm him? What if Whitebeard just kind of, like, just kicked him aside like he was nothing, and Crocodile realized right away that he was nothing? Like, he's like, I'm sorry, please let me go, please let me go. And that's when Whitebeard was like, just get the fuck out of my sight. I don't want to see you around here anymore. And that's later on, during Marineford. That's why Whitebeard has such kind of like a, after all these years, it's been many years. It's been like 20 years since he had that confrontation with Whitebeard back in his mid-20s. He's like in his mid-40s now. He's like, you know what? I am a badass. I am stronger. Yeah, I'm gonna show the world I can really take down Whitebeard. I'm gonna show them. Not even really showing them, more of it was like his own, like his inferiority complex. Like, he puts on this facade, like, yeah, I'm strong now. I am strong. I'm important. The world government thinks I'm really freaking dangerous. I am dangerous. I'm gonna take this guy down. When he attacks Whitebeard, you know what Whitebeard's reaction to it was? Whitebeard didn't even give a shit. He didn't even give enough of a shit to turn around. He just kind of sat there and just like, you never learn, do you little brat? Like, he's just like, really? We're doing this again? Seriously? And that's when Luffy jumps in and manages to, take out Crocodile, there. But, yeah. I think it's something that's a little bit out of Crocodile's character, but that's the point. That's the point. Obviously, Crocodile was kind of different 20 years ago. I'm sure he's not the same guy 20 years ago as he is now. But 20 years ago, he had this moment where it really damaged his ego, damaged his reputation to himself. And he's just like, I have to kind of atone for that. I kind of have to rectify this, and I have to take down a Whitebeard. And at that moment when Whitebeard was dying, he had a moment where he shouted at him, like, he's like, the one that defeated me wasn't this weak. You can't die like this, because he knows, like, this is my last, I'll never have this opportunity. me. I'll never have it. You know, he's dead now. And I didn't do it. So that's one possibility. That he was begging for his life and he can't let anybody know that's how it actually went down. And another theory that I have, something that he would not want the world to know, is he was a warlord, right? He was like a really feared warlord. This guy was a warlord for like 20 freaking years, or close to about 20 years. If he became a warlord like in his mid-20s and Luffy defeated him when he was 44, so that's pretty close to that. For a long time, all throughout the world, people knew all about Crocodile. Even the fact that his bounty was only 81 million when it was frozen, that's kind of a big deal, because that means like during early on in his pirate career, he didn't really rack up that much of a bounty, but the world government saw he was very threatening and made him a warlord. What if the circumstances that resulted in Crocodile becoming a warlord were not of his own merit? What if it was something kind of like Buggy, where Buggy just kind of accidentally, you know, like the world accidentally thinks he's a badass. They accidentally think he's so strong and so threatening to the world that they made him a warlord, and Buggy's just kind of riding that train. What if it's... But the thing is, though, Buggy doesn't care that they think this about him. Buggy's not sitting there like, you know, I'm a freaking failure, man. I'm a freaking failure. It just keeps happening. People think I'm awesome, but I'm really not. No, Buggy's riding the train off. You know, he's just like, I'm awesome. But Crocodile would not be like that. Crocodile would be like, I can't let anybody know. I can't let anybody know how I became a warlord. They think I'm so strong. They think I'm so threatening. And maybe, you know, Crocodile is strong, undoubtedly, but 20 years ago, he might not even had his Sunasuna powers yet. We don't know. You know, it could have been something like along the lines of what happened with, like, Morgan. Captain Morgan became a captain because they thought he took down the Black Cat pirates, but in reality, he didn't. It could have been something with Crocodile, where it's like there's all these dead pirates and crocodiles around, and the world government just assumes that he did it, and they just made him that. When Crocodile knows it wasn't him, it was somebody else. You know, at least Morgan was hypnotized, so he actually legitimately thinks he took down the Black Cat pirates. You know, Crocodile would actually still know, like, I don't deserve this, but they are giving it to me, so I'm just gonna go with it. But it kind of like hurts his pride a little bit. You know, that's something that he would care about, his image in that respect. Not like his macho image, but his image as like a strong person, a dangerous person, someone that could actually flip the world on its side. That's what Crocodile wants to be seen as, like a Bond villain, basically. I think those two theories have way more water than simply Crocodile's living in the closet or Crocodile used to be a woman or something like that. Okay, so now where does Ivankov play a part in all this? Because Ivankov mentioned that, back in the day, when Crocodile was a rookie, I knew him. And that's when I found out about his secret. We don't know that it directly is related to Ivankov in that sense. We just know that Ivankov found out about it. And keep in mind, Ivankov was in the, the Revolutionary Army, which kind of specializes in espionage and shit. So the idea that Ivankov discovered a secret being in the Revolutionary Army, go figure, you know? It could be something as simple as just, hearing it through the grapevines, eavesdropping on a pirate crew like Whitebeard's crew, eavesdropping on some of the, on Crocodile and just finding out about it, That's all it would take for Ivankov. It doesn't have to directly involve him. And when he says, I knew Crocodile when he was a rookie, I think this is before even a warlord status, because can you really be considered a rookie pirate when you're a warlord? Maybe that Ivankov just meant rookie in the sense of like, you've only been a pirate for a few years, so therefore you're a rookie. But I don't think anyone would really consider, like even Luffy's group are considered rookies in a sense, So maybe that's what Ivankov meant. But I imagine it couldn't be really more of a rookie status. After he became like the Baroque Works thing, after he was 30, it had to be, since the time he began his quest to become King of the Pirates at age 22, maybe even before he became a warlord, in that little gap there that Ivankov found out about this secret or something. But yeah, it doesn't have to directly involve Ivankov. So anyway, yeah, that's basically my idea there. There's some other ones too that are out there that are just freaking crazy. Like there's one that I read that's like, Crocodile used to be a woman, but that woman was actually Luffy's mom. That's right. Crocodile gave birth to Luffy. Just wanted to give you a little moment there to mentally picture that. But no, seriously. That's stupid. That's stupid. Okay, I'm not going with that. I mean, if you want to entertain that, fine. Like, oh yeah, we just had an entire arc where that was focused and the climax with Luffy beating the ever-loving shit out of his mom. Yeah, that's good. Without ever even really referencing it all. Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough. Yeah, sure, Oda. I'm sure Oda's going to go down that road with it. But no, I like my ideas better, obviously, but that's just me. So what do you guys think? And what I would recommend is, look, if you are really for the whole Crocodile used to be a woman thing, if that's your cup of tea, if you stand by that 100%, that's fine. Just maybe care to elaborate a little more outside the box. Try to think a little bit outside the box on it, maybe. And if that's not if it's not one of those things, or it's nothing that I brought up, then what is your thoughts on the whole secret of Crocodile, the Croco Boys, assorted past? What do you guys think? So, big comment section jamboree on down below. Thank you for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking101 signing out. You guys have a good night. Later.